Yeah, I mean, I tell him all the time, I will no longer engage in discussion or hearing people's thoughts, opinions about with whom I discuss, have on my show, or whose show I go on, or anybody or any other interactions with humans that I have are no longer discussable for other people. So you could say whatever you want, but I find it ridiculous. And my attitude on it is that I will go to on any show, talk to anyone on any platform that I think will help move us in the right direction. If I think there is a value to be had. And that is it. I got crap for going on the Tim Pool show. I got crap for having Vosh on my show. I get crap for anybody that I'll talk to. And I don't care, because what happens when you go on a show like Tim Pool's show is that you're reaching a whole different audience outside of your echo chamber. We got not just out of subscribers. That's not the issue. Remember we were at the art walk and some young Black kid comes up to me. He was probably in his 20s, but I kid. So, and he says to me, "Hey, are you Jen?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I saw you on the Tim Pool show." And so when you look at the crossover demographics that are happening when you do that, it only makes our movement stronger. It doesn't, it's a good thing, to do that. So it's new voices. I think it's the most important thing that we do is build these coalitions.
Yeah, I thought that was the point of politics, right? Because do you guys remember when Bernie Sanders went on Fox News and all the liberals was attacking him in bad faith? Yep. Even though Pete Buttigieg, he went on Fox News too, they were silent about that. But that's a story for another day. But you guys see, this is a bad faith attack because they don't want us to have these conversations, because they attack Bernie Sanders because they honestly don't want him to build his coalition. They don't want us to win heart and minds. That was what it was really about. But they was attacking him in bad faith, like, oh, how can you talk to these people? How can you give them validity? But if you go on someone else's show who disagree with you, if you talk to people who disagree with you, and you bring those people over, isn't that the point? Isn't that how we win? And I tweeted after the Door show. Meanwhile, there was a very small group, and I want to emphasize small, group of deeply unserious people who got upset because I platformed Jimmy Dore. Like, no, he platformed me. I can't platform him.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I can't. That's not how it works. But to show you guys how that's not how it works, I posted a tweet where a conservative commented on there, like, I'm a conservative-leaning Jimmy Dore fan, and you convinced me to support Medicare for all. And because I tied it to racial justice, like, when you frame it that way, I didn't think about it that way. That's also why you should listen to other people and other people's perspectives, because they can frame it in a way that may not have worked for someone who came from another background. But that's a story for another day. But my point is, once again, that's just someone who's been converted to Medicare for all because of what I was saying.
Yeah.
And even though other people will be like, oh, they're conservative. You looking for a conservative audience? That's how we win. And the people who say we should not reach out and build bridges, I kind of side-eye, because I feel like you guys giving us bad advice on purpose, because that's what the liberal establishment do for progressives. They give progressives bad advice on purpose because they don't want to see us succeed. So when they tell Bernie Sanders, oh, you can't go on Fox News. Oh, Bernie Sanders, you can't go on Joe Rogan. That's not them saying that because they really believe it. They're saying that because they know if he go on Joe Rogan, the biggest podcast on earth, he will win people over. So they do this on purpose, and people who still buy that are, you lacking a very crucial critical thinking skill. And it doesn't make any sense to me. So I agree with you, and that's why I appreciate you inviting me on my show. So invite me on your show, because I'm willing to have these conversations with anyone. And if you have anyone in your audience who don't like me, because there's all people that don't like me, because I attack and I challenge politicians, some people favorite politicians, maybe they hear me out and maybe like, oh, maybe not that unreasonable. Or maybe they say, oh, actually, I was right about him. Either way, it's good. Like, if you don't like me, you listen to this interview, you're like, oh, yeah, I was right to not like that guy. Then that's fine. At least you heard me out. At least we had a dialogue. At least it was honest, instead of just smearing and attacking people from behind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that, and you touched on something interesting right there, because quite honestly, people shouldn't have favorite politicians. They're not they shouldn't be unless it's somebody that you would put a poster above your bed, then it shouldn't be somebody that you kind of idolize, right? I'm just saying. So mine was Andy Gibb, and I would still stand by that choice. And he was in his shadow dancing outfit from the 70s, and it was above my bed. But my point is that nobody should be idolizing these people. They're supposed to be representing you. They're your employees. So, which we should treat our employees nicely. But I think we go above and beyond for them.
Yeah, and I never understood the worship of politicians, and that's why I don't apologize. Like if I hurt your feelings because I criticize your favorite politician, and you like LC, I criticize her, and I hurt your feelings. Sorry, tough luck. Because I am very open about my political development, and I talk about how back in the day I used to be a strong Barack Obama supporter. I used to have more liberal-minded tendencies just because I was going with the cultural flow. And then eventually I'll grow and evolve. Now I'll tell you guys how that happened. I talked to Dr. Cornel West. He's one of my heroes because he was one of the people who broke my cognitive dissonance of Barack Obama. So there was a time where Dr. Cornel West and Michael Eric Dyson, he was another prominent intellectual in the Black community. But Michael Eric Dyson is a little bit more liberal-minded, but he's a good intellectual. So he will properly explain to you all the problems in the Black community. But the problem with Eric Dyson is he's like, but this is why we should support the Democratic Party. And this is why we should support Barack Obama. This is why we should support the Clintons. So he was explaining the premise well, the premise well, and that's why I liked him. But I didn't know he was getting the conclusion right. And I remember during the Barack Obama administration, he was saying like, "Yeah, I know Barack Obama wasn't exactly what you guys say he was going to be, but it's very unfair to criticize." And he went after Dr. Cornel West for this. He went after Dr. Cornel. He said it's not fair to attack our first Black president, because that hurts our chances of getting other Black people in places of power, and that's our chance of reaching emancipation. And obviously, we know why this is ridiculous, and that's why Dr. Cornel West called him out. And he was like, "No, this is crazy. Dude. Barack Obama is a Rockefeller Republican in blackface." And the reason I'm bringing this up is because this dialogue and this debate that they had through op-eds, and it was like a big thing they was showing on BET. I wouldn't have turned on against Obama if I had that worship of politicians, because Dr. Cornel West did get backlash, especially from the Black community. How dare you worship Obama? Yeah. And that was around time like, all right, that line of thinking is ridiculous. And the same thing happens to me when it comes to politicians now. Like I was a big supporter of Bernie Sanders and the squad and LC on them, but that doesn't mean I'm not to criticize them when they do wrong, because I don't worship politicians. That's not how it works. That's not how it ever worked.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.